I'm very happy to hear the EPA decision in making carbon footprint measurement and anything related with carbon emissions as future legislation. I think it's a major step forward, and I think it's very, very important for the states because all over the planet, and especially in Europe, but also in South America, even in Asia, most of the countries are accepting the phenomenon of climate change. They're accepting that they have to do something about that. The problem that we are facing today is that how you move from a political decision to a legal action. And I think Copenhagen is about that, is how they can move from a political commitment to a legal action in order to make it happen. I think Copenhagen and commitment and Copenhagen discussion is going to bring a new world. Despite the fact that the results are not going to be very tough for some of the countries like China, India, or whatever, the political commitment from their countries to reduce their carbon emissions and having a contribution to the phenomenon of climate change, I think it's a very, very, very important indication that we have a global agreement towards climate change, towards the reduction of carbon emissions. As you very well know, Europe is leading the way to climate change agenda. We have policies. I believe climate change is the hot topic today. In Europe, there is a lot of legislation even for governments to measure the carbon footprint and reduce it, and it's the same for organizations. So it's a major issue and a major part of the European policy of organizations, not only cap and trade, but also to measure and reduce their carbon footprint. I believe this is going to happen also in the States in the next 1 or 2 years. A lot of organizations, as they are already happening today, they have started to measure the carbon footprint. They have already making proactive actions in order to reduce the carbon footprint and be more effective. In the whole world, in countries in South America, we're in the very, very early beginning of environmental aspects. And of course, in China, it's a hot issue, but very few things happening today. What I can see is that I can see an acceleration of policies and actions in all these countries, especially in South America, in China and India. I can see a lot of programs for organizations and for governments to measure the carbon footprint and using new advanced technologies in order to make it happen. It will take a few years, but I believe that Europe is leading the way, and US has the opportunity also to lead the way in the next coming years. The role of NGOs in the sustainability movement is tremendous. They had and they still playing a significant role. And I think it's very, very important for NGOs to provide tangible results. The NGOs are playing an inspirational role to the sustainability movement, and they should continue doing that. But at the same time, they need to meet customers' expectations. And their customers' expectations today is transparency. A lot of NGOs want to be more transparent. And a very effective tool to be more transparent is to create their own sustainability report, showing to their community, to their customers, to their members, how they can be sustainable, how they're transparent, how they have effective governance, how they manage effectively their resources.